So I have a question about your stance on the 2020 election, and I want to make a case that you're going to disagree with, and you can rebut.
That's fine.
So I'm of a belief like the David Brooks and Bill Kristol and other people who are inside the Republican Party that Trump needs a primary challenger for three reasons for the survival of the conservative movement. One is because the racial statements are a stain on the party and may make it unpopular for the future. Similarly, the way the party, as you acknowledged, appeals to young people, it's hurting the party and tainting its image. And if Trump is nominee, he may lose in 2020, and therefore running him at the top of the ticket would have been worthless and have been a stain. And the third issue is the issue of the Mueller report with lies about Russian contacts and the idea that it could be bad, and there could be and Trump could come out of this very stained, and if he runs, he'll lose in a landslide. So my question to you is, what do you say to people inside the Republican Party who oppose the primary opponent because you think it will be more practical?
Why do I oppose a primary opponent in the face of all those questions?
In the face of all those questions, and what, like, in terms of Trump's statements, like you've mentioned a possible N-word tape, or like what in the Mueller report could lead you to change your mind?
Right. Okay. So if there's an N-word tape that drops, he has to be primaried. If the Mueller report were to, and he has to be primaried because, again, it takes him from the realm of vague jackassery to the realm of open racism, and at that point, you have to primary him. There's really no moral choice at that point. The Mueller report has to find that he was actively in cahoots with the Russians to change the nature of the election, meaning that he was coordinating with the Russians to release WikiLeaks at a particular time, coordinating and strategizing with them as to how that would be done. I don't see the evidence of that. If the evidence emerges, then we'll take a look at it. So I've said all along, I want the Mueller report to go forward. I want to see the results of the Mueller report. And then once we read it, we can make some judgments. I'm getting very tired of people jumping to the conclusion, as a lot of anti-Trump people do, that there's going to be something utterly damning in there, and the conclusion from a lot of the pro-Trump people that there will be nothing at all and that it's just a giant waste of time. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. So maybe we should just wait. I know it's rough. But, okay, so as far as the primary challenge, as things currently stand, folks like Bill Kristol and David Brooks want to see a primary like as things are right now. Here's the reason why I've opposed a primary, and it mainly is a practical political reason. The main reason why I've opposed a primary to President Trump is not ideological. It's not that I don't think there are better Republicans out there. I thought there were 15 of them in 2016. Right? I think that there are many, many better Republicans than President Trump. I think there are many people who'd be better candidates than President Trump. I could name them off the top of my head, but we don't have that long tonight. The problem that I have, and again, that's not a rip on President Trump's policy as much as it is on the fact that the man steps on his own junk on a routine basis. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. He says dumb things. If you could somehow, God forbid this would happen to anybody, but if you could somehow create a Saw situation where he's chained on one side of the room and his phone on the other, he would rise 10 points in his approval rating nearly immediately. Right? But the real problem is that if you primary President Trump, the result of that will be that Trump will win 80% of the primary vote. Right? Let's say that you run anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, the only person I could see winning more than that in a primary is maybe somebody like Jim Mattis, somebody who has some military credibility or something. But if it's not somebody like Jim Mattis, then, let's say you run Nikki Haley, who is the most popular politician in America right now by polling. One of the reasons that Nikki Haley is popular is because she's popular with folks who like Trump, and she's popular with folks who don't like Trump. You actually have to have both those crowds if you actually want to win a general election. What would happen if Nikki Haley ran against Trump is she would immediately be seen as disloyal. He would win 80% of the vote against her. And then what the media wants, and this is where I think that Kristol and Brooks are really going wrong, they think that if they want to maintain a core remnant of members of the Republican Party who are clean, who are ideologically clean, then you need to primary Trump, and the people who vote for the primary opponent are the people who are clean, and it's an acid test. And people who vote for Trump are not ideologically clean. But that's not a clean acid test. There are a bunch of people who are going to think that Trump is the incumbent president. You primary him, the primary opponent's going to lose a general. So maybe Trump's the person they think has the best shot at winning. Maybe they think that Trump is the person with the record. Maybe they think that Trump's the person who's most able to win the money wars or win votes. Right? There are plenty of reasons to vote for President Trump other than you like all the bad things about him. By creating this false dichotomy between a primary opponent who is clean as the driven snow and Trump, the media and members of the left are basically going to now suggest that if you vote for Trump, it's because you have fully embraced all of his bad aspects And you have another choice. So why don't you just choose that other person? Well, it's because you like the fact that he says bad things about women. You like the fact that he does dumb stuff all the time. You like his Charlottesville comments, right? And that's not true. Trump is a basket of qualities, just like any other human being. And lots of people are voting for that basket of qualities out of sheer practicality. The number one reason people voted for President Trump in 2016 is because Hillary Clinton was the opponent, and they didn't want Hillary Clinton to be president. Okay, and the same thing is going to be true in 2020, whoever the Democrat is. By creating this false choice, what you're doing is you're allowing the Republican Party counterintuitively to be cast as the party of all the bad things about Trump. What I would say is that the vast majority of Republicans are not racist, they're not sexist, they're not bigots, they're not homophobes, and they don't like a lot of the stuff that Trump is saying. I don't know really very many Trump fans at all. And I'm sure that the vast majority of people in this room who are Republican will vote for Trump. Even the people who are the biggest Trump fans will acknowledge that when he says dumb stuff, it's dumb, or that when he says bad stuff, it's bad. Right? That seems to me about the same as every other political figure in the country. It's just that he happens to say more inflammatory stuff than most. So I don't think it's practical. I think it's in fact, I think it's counterproductive in a pretty major way. It allows the Republican Party to be broadly smeared as the party that embraces all things Trump, when the reality is that, again, we haven't embraced all things Trump. We've embraced the guy who won the presidency.